down the field. Happy tossing dimes, cop $1 million deal. Fantasy football, better know it's real. Tune into the podcast, tell us how you feel. We be going live, best believe we talk.
I'm gonna fart first. Should I leave that? Should I? Why does it say live? No, that's normal. Could you fucking imagine? That'd be amazing. Somebody gets on to watch it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our Week 2 recap show here at the Fantasy Football from Up North. Clayton here, joining me. Seems to be a regular occurrence nowadays is Riley. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Good day of fantasy for me. I think I went 5 for 5 in my league, so pretty happy about that.
I feel as though I am the worst fantasy football player today because I won don't get me wrong, I didn't lose every league, but a couple big important ones of mine, I didn't just lose, I got like shit kicked. Like big time. So back to the grind, I guess, starting tomorrow and try to get these teams turned around. So, but you know what? We're going to try to keep this show, like I said, always within about 30-minute period. So just right off the bat, we're going to touch on the key injuries. Didn't have too many, but the ones that we did have this week were quite significant. Let's start with the biggest one, probably is Trey Lance, expected to be a 4 to 6 month recovery. Brutal, just absolutely brutal for this young stud quarterback, in my opinion. As far as the Niners go, I mean, they look like one of the smartest organizations right now when they did hold on to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate to see Trey Lance go down like that, especially pretty much first season starting for him. First game was just monsoon weather. And then second game, like, he never really got an opportunity, which kind of sucks. So I don't know. Hopefully next year he can get right back into things, but hoping for a good recovery out of him.
Yeah, he's young. He should bounce back. Another one we'll talk about, another young guy, Jerry Jeudy. Looks like an AC sprain. Kind of waiting to see what that, but it's usually about a couple week absence. And we saw Cortland Sutton, which we'll talk about when we get to the Denver game. I mean, he stepped up in a big way today.
Yeah, for sure. Sutton's going to be I think Sutton's a guy with Jeudy, so now that Judy's injured, Sutton's going to be. And
we said that right from the get-go, right? It takes one injury is what's going to take for one of these guys to really explode, so that's kind of what he did today. Last one we'll kind of touch on is James Conner. It's going to be an unfortunate one for the Cardinals. Low ankle sprain, and we know how James Conner works, right? When he gets banged up, it could be a lingering issue moving forward. So Darrell Williams was the guy that kind of took over that role for him. So that's going to be a guy which we'll touch on tomorrow in our waiver episode.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's just kick off these games here. To start off, we had some exciting games today. I mean, who would have ever thunk when we get to the game that the Jets would be in a barn burner? That was something else to watch against Cleveland.
Yeah.
But
that Miami game was the craziest game I've ever seen.
Yeah. So let's touch on this boring game here. 1916 Giants Panthers. What was your biggest takeaway from this game?
Barkley struggled this game. That was my biggest takeaway. He wasn't firing on all cylinders at all during that game. You know, he just struggled. And Sterling Shepard, surprisingly big target share for a guy coming off an injury. And so I think he's a sneaky waiver wire pickup this week.
Yeah, we kind of touched on him a little bit last week too, but he definitely should be owned. Daniel Jones has a pretty good rapport with him the last 2 weeks now, and just doesn't seem like anything else is going. You know, they had Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay is unhappy. I read a thing on Twitter today that says when they went in the locker room, his locker was empty and he was gone. So something's going to come down the pipe, I'm sure, this week. But yeah, but like you said, Barkley struggled early in this game, kind of got it going later. But yeah, I mean, numbers 21 for 72 yards aren't really the greatest. And on the Carolina side of the ball, McCaffrey did what McCaffrey does. And the biggest thing here was Baker just kind of spreads this ball around wherever. Didn't throw too many times, so they didn't have many completions. Sorry about this if you're watching this on YouTube. The cat came to have a nice little visit. But, DJ Moore had the lone touchdown in this one. Robbie Anderson just kind of continues to, see targets, but not too much to talk about in this game. New England and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game was a weird one. Started out really slow and then kind of, not excitement. Let's be realistic. There's no excitement. The thing that stood out here is it looks like Damian Harris is the guy in this Patriots backfield. 15 for 71. 2 targets, had the lone rushing touchdown. So,
yes. However, he did get injured his final carry of the game. I forgot about.
Yeah,
Damian Harris got injured, so be on the lookout for his injury status because he limped off, so it looked kind of serious. So be on the lookout for Ramondre Stevenson. Big weeks coming if Damian Harris misses time.
And another guy to talk about on the waiver wire is Jacoby Myers. He is probably their most consistent receiver. 9 catches for 95 yards today, 13 targets. So he's locked in with Mac Jones. Just another guy to kind of look out when it comes to this New England offense.
Yeah, and Parker, I really thought Parker was going to be the guy for New England this year, but he is not being targeted whatsoever in the past game.
Yeah, so Jacoby's been pretty consistent. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely droppable. Jacoby has been pretty consistent the last 2 years. So just something like, once they can get this offense rolling, I think you're going to see and start scoring points. I think you're going to see Jacoby Myers on the end of a lot of those. Steelers side of the ball, it looked like Harris wasn't at 100% clearly. I know he didn't have an injury designation coming into it, but he still had 15 carries and didn't do too much with them. And then on the receiving side of the ball, just kind of Deontay Johnson's really just it's what he does. With Trubisky, I don't think this offense is not exciting when you got Trubisky running the show.
No, Trubisky, I don't know. He spreads it around. He's a good game manager quarterback, but for fantasy purposes, we obviously don't like to see that. But Deontay's going to get all those short targets, and Freiermuth's looking like a must start almost every week now.
Yeah. He definitely he could be in that. Yeah, he could be in that tight end 1 conversation. Basically, tight end 1 conversations. Last 2, he's had another touchdown today. But for the completions that Trubisky had today, 21 completions for only 168 yards. That's concerning to me when you got guys like Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Pickens, those guys that have that speed and burst. That just Trubisky's. That's what they're missing, right? They're missing a quarterback that can sling that ball downfield because they got the weapons to get downfield. So that's what I'm saying. So hopefully that does happen at some point. I guess waiting to see. So Buccaneers and Saints. This game was a weird one too. Just kind of all about field goals. Tom Brady is concerning me. This offense is concerning me. Everything about this Bucs team is concerning me. Yes, they did get the win today, but Brady doesn't look the same. Fournette. 24 rushes today for 65 yards, 2.7 yards per carry. Garbage.
He was also, I don't know. I'm not worried about Fournette just because he was their only healthy, somewhat healthy guy, right?
Yeah, and he's getting the workload. But as far as everyone else goes, Evans did get ejected in this game for that brawl with Lattimore. What exactly happened? I saw the aftermath of it.
I just saw. I don't know exactly what happened, but Lattimore was walking by the sideline, and Tom Brady said something like, I think he said, "You're a fucking bitch" or something like that. And then Lattimore came walking towards Brady, and then Evans just laid him out. So
I did see him lay him out. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. And then I saw Evans saying to the ref, "That's Tom Brady. What did you want me to do?" or something like that. What would you expect?
Brady probably bought him a Rolex after the game.
Yeah, exactly. But like we talked about earlier on today as well, when we were discussing on our live today, Russell Gage, 5 catches, 28 yards. Not the best, but at least he's getting targeted and he's getting catches. So, but Scotty Miller has led the team in targets this week. So, we don't really know what's going on when it comes to no Godwin, no Julio. We're not sure who's going to be the guy. That's why I think there's concern with this offense, because are those guys with Julio, for example, if he gets injured, it lingers, right? Godwin's coming back from his injury. They shouldn't even ran him out last week. I don't think they'd have the issue this week. So
yeah, unless they have the same injuries this week, I'm not really taking anything away from this game.
Yeah,
it's kind of a garbage game in general. Tampa always struggles against the Saints for some reason too.
Yeah, and on the Saints side of the ball, I mean, Winston's playing with four fractures in his back or something like that, which is crazy. But 25 completions, 230 today, 1 passing touchdown. And we got earlier word that Kamara was out, so Ingram's kind of stepped in, 10 for 60. Not bad. So Ingram's obviously the guy to own right now on the Saints as a handcuff to Ingram, correct?
Sorry, you said Ingram's the handcuff to own.
The handcuff. So Kamara, like, do you think this injury to Kamara is going to linger? Like, if this is going to be a week-to-week thing, I mean, are you going to do you think that Ingram is going to kind of carve out a role even when Kamara is healthy?
I don't think Kamara is going to miss a lot of time just because apparently he has the same thing Justin Herbert has, and apparently Justin Herbert's going to go next week. So I'd assume Kamara maybe misses week 3, but I think he'll be back short enough time. And I don't know, Ingram didn't look like, I know the stats say 10 for 60, but Ingram didn't look like anything special out there. The big thing I took away from this game is Mike Thomas is back to being their number 1 receiver, and I thought Jarvis would have had a way bigger game than he had today.
I agree. If I had to put my money on it, I was going all in on Landry this week. But another big surprise for me is that this is going to be just one of the few wide receiver rookies that we talk about is Chris Olave. 13 targets today, 5 catches for 80 yards. So he's clearly their wide receiver too. And yeah, I do agree with you. Michael Thomas is kind of stepping back into that role of being the guy, and he's getting production out of it. So this is the game we were talking about, New York Jets and the Browns. And the one thing that stood out to me, welcome to the NFL, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, he looked
Dominated.
phenomenal.
Oh,
today.
he looked awesome.
Exactly how I thought he was going to look coming out of college.
Yeah, and if he's on the waiver wire, he's probably going to be – I know he plays for the Jets, but Flacco loves this kid. 22 targets in 2 games, 8 for 102 and 2 touchdowns today. So those aren't stats you can just walk away from. 22 targets in 2 games, that's insane.
Yeah, he had a good game. And also the other rookie, we saw him step up a little bit, Breece Hall, back there, kind of like a split, as I would expect, where Carter was trying to get the receiving work. And Breece Hall, he looked good on the ground today. So
over 7 yards per carry. So that's kind of what they expected when they drafted him. But you know what? Flacco is a good quarterback. As much as I don't know. It's questionable, but Cleveland came into this game. I mean, I saw Cleveland's defense being ranked pretty much number 1, and Flacco carved them up. Over 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. That's crazy. So as far as that goes, yeah, biggest takeaway is Garrett Wilson. That was an unbelievable game. And then on Cleveland side, nothing really to talk about. Nick Chubb, well done. And Cooper finally got something going.
Yes. Yeah. My boy Cooper, he finally stepped up into that wide receiver 1 role. And everyone was saying, bench Cooper this week. He's still going to be their number 1 guy, even with
I was one of them. I didn't trust any of them. But so moving forward, I mean, the guys you're basically starting on this team is, I guess, Cooper and both running backs, right? I mean, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. It was Chubb that had 3 touchdowns today, but Kareem Hunt still had 13 rushes today and 2 catches. So he's still getting the work as well. So, I mean, Hunt's a solid, probably the best flex play out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
So now this game we were talking about, Miami and Baltimore. First of all, Lamar Jackson kicked shit out of me today, and so did Waddle. So thank you guys very much for that.
Well, pretty much anyone you had on offense in this game. Waddle and Hill had like insane stat lines.
Yeah.
Almost 500 yards today.
Yeah. And yeah, so basically I got the stats in front of me. Tyreek Hill, 11 catches, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns on 13 targets. And this is crazy. 11 for 171, 2 touchdowns for Waddle. How many targets do you think he had today?
I had him on my fantasy team.
19.
I was going to say high teens.
19. That is insane. Tua just loves these two. And Miami's scary good. Like they should. I was confident when they did get Tyreek Hill, but I didn't think they'd be this good offensively.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of the biggest things that stuck out to me outside this receiving is it looked like Mostert. I mean, I know it's only 11 for 51, but he seems to be that guy on the first and second down. It seems to me that Chase Edmonds is the one that's basically that third down back right now.
Yeah, that's a sketchy running back situation, Miami. I'm not trusting either of those guys.
I'm not. I'll trust them in the flex. That's about it.
I think it's more just rolling with the hot hand because we saw Chase Edmonds had a terrible week last week, averaged like maybe 2 yards a carry last week. But the big thing, Tua stepped into his zone. That was a big comeback for Miami. That was a big game for them, and I think you're going to see that continue.
Well, the confidence after this game for Tua has got to be sky high. So
exactly,
look out for Miami. That's all I got to say. Look out for Miami. And then on the other side of the ball, Baltimore, Lamar Jackson. Baltimore's going to regret not signing this guy earlier because he is just going to wreck this league this year. Over 300 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns, and another 120 yards on the ground. Like that's insane. And he ran a 79-yard touchdown in. Like, are you kidding me? Like when I saw that, I was just shaking my head because I'm playing against him in one league, and I think in the league that I had him, I had him against, or he was against me. It was a standard league, and he still put up a 50 burger on me. Like it's insane.
Yeah, no, he was great, and also my boy Rashad Bateman.
Man. Yeah, you called it.
I called it this morning. I said, don't give up on Bateman just yet. He had a lot of his yardage came from that one big touchdown, but he still had 7 targets in that offense and 7 targets in a Baltimore-led offense. It's pretty good. So.
Well, and something else to kind of keep an eye. I mean, Andrews did what Andrews does. It was good to see him come back to life in this week. Another one, Duvernay left this game with a concussion, but Isaiah Likely, the standout tight end in preseason, 4 catches, 43 yards on 5 targets. So not bad, but it just shows that Lamar's going to spread this ball around, and he likes both these tight ends.
Yeah.
So big game for them today. Washington, Detroit. This game here was another one that basically I thought Detroit was going to let it slip out of their hands, but they didn't. But on the Washington side, Carson Wentz continues to be, in my opinion, even if you need a streaming quarterback, if there's an injury, like if you lost Dak, if you lost like Trey Lance, and Wentz is out there. Wentz is a solid option, in my opinion. I mean, 30 completions today. Started out slow, mind you. Threw 1 pick, but still 3 passing touchdowns for him. So, I mean, that's what 7 in 2 games.
Yeah, the passing volume out of this Washington offense is something I was not expecting. But if they're doing that against teams like Jacksonville last week and Detroit this week, I think that's going to be a continuing thing throughout the season. So Wentz is like a surefire top 15 quarterback almost every week, in my opinion.
Exactly. Antonio Gibson kind of came back to life. These are the kind of games you could kind of expect from him. But I think that was game scripted because they went down early and they had no choice but to throw the ball. Curtis Samuel, to me, is a solid wide receiver too every week right now. Another 8 targets, 7 for 78, another touchdown this week. So I think him in this passing game, definitely it's him and McLaurin. Followed by, if you're going to flex somebody, you can look at a guy like Dotson who got in the end zone again.
Yeah, all these receivers look good again. I don't know why. Still very confused why McLaurin's not being targeted more, but
maybe just coverage, right?
Yeah, the chemistry seems to be there with Samuel and Wentz, so keep rolling with Samuel.
Yeah, you know how Wentz is. If he throws he can't throw into tight windows. So if McLaurin's getting blanketed with defenders, he's not going to throw it at him because that's how we see how his shitty career is kind of gone, right? Yeah. But another guy who is impressing me week to week is Jared Goff. Another 4 passing touchdowns today, 2 to St. Brown, and I don't know. DeAndre Swift is something else. I mean, he had receiving touchdown today, but the funny thing was Ramon St. Brown as well, 2 for 68 on the ground.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift might be the most explosive player in the NFL right now. He barely played this game, and just every time he touched the ball, something was happening. And
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm very mad at myself. I have this guy in none of my 5 leagues. He
Yeah.
is looking like a legit elite wide receiver one.
Yeah, and moving forward, Goff's the same kind of situation. I have him in a super flex league. I'm firing him up now. I'm going to bench. In all honesty, I can't. I got Goff, I got Tannehill, and yeah, Matt Ryan in a super flex league. Just shitty. And Matt Ryan can kiss my ass because he's terrible. We'll get to that game. But Jared Goff is now going to be one of my starting quarterbacks in that super flex league. Oh, surprise, surprise. Indy Jacksonville game. Indy sucks.
Yeah, they 24-0 against the Jags is ridiculous. Matt Ryan looks absolutely atrocious. You understand why Atlanta let him go last season. And Jonathan Taylor, he didn't do much until the final, I want to say, fourth quarter.
Yeah, he only nine carries today. When you're losing out on your number one receiver in Pittman, you think that I thought, we both said Taylor was going to eat this week. We thought he was going to be the man, and it showed up that, no, he didn't. They didn't really. Jacksonville shut him down big time. Hines still had some. It was Ashton. What's his name? Ashton Doolin. That was the guy that kind of took over that role from Pittman. 7 targets, 5 catches for 79 yards. But I don't even want to talk about this team because they suck. Go to the Jacksonville side of the ball. James Robinson's J-Rob is the man.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit yards per carry, but that's going to happen when you have 23 rushes on the ground, right? And yeah, J-Rob's at 1A in that offense, and Etienne's he's not doing too well. He's kind of struggling early on. Obviously, I think he'll still be involved a little bit, but James Robinson is a must start next week at least until we see something change in this backfield.
Yeah, and another thing is that $84 million spent on the Christian Kirk was well worth the money, I think, for Jacksonville. He seems to be he's dominant in this offense. He's Lawrence's go-to guy. Another 2 touchdowns today, 6 catches. Crazy stat for me was Evan Ingram, actually 7 catches for 46 yards on 8 targets. I guess Lawrence is kind of looking his way.
Yeah. Evan Ingram looked good today. It's just so weird seeing him in number 17.
Yeah.
Just out there on the Jays, but he looked good today too.
But
he's
so
one you should be keeping an eye out for. On the
I was just about to say that if you're needing tight end help, because all right, next game we're going to touch on here is the Atlanta LA Rams kind of streaming guys every week. This game kind of shocked me a little bit closer than what I thought it would be, considering I had the Rams as pretty much one of my top 5 defenses. It's just a matter of time before especially against this kind of the end zone poopy Atlanta team. So, but what stuck out to me was Drake London, 8 for 86, 1 touchdown on 12 targets. These rookie wide receivers continue to kind of impress me on a week-to-week basis already. That's 2 weeks in a row now that, at least 3-4 of these wide receivers have kind of stepped up, where something that we didn't really see much of last year until later in the year, the second half of the season, which, when Jamar Chase kind of blew up. So what did you like from this game?
Well, just like you said, Drake London, like these rookie wide receivers were legit. That's what I was trying to tell people. This draft class can be just as good as the Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb draft class in terms of wide receivers, in my opinion. And he showed out. Mariota likes to throw to him, so fire him up every week, wide receiver 2. Rams side of the ball, I don't know. The Rams struggled, but one thing I did like seeing is Cam Akers getting a bit more opportunity there. I think he did play well, even though he didn't have the highest yards per carry in this game, but he did play well when he did touch the ball. And I think you're going to slowly see that backfield shift more into Akers' backfield.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of knocking off some of that rust right from that injury. He still doesn't look as explosive what he did when he did get injured last year. And same kind of situation. I think there was no need for them to bring him back last year when they did. They should just set him out the year, let him rehab it. And I think that's just kind of, I think he's hesitant at times. And I think just, the more games he's playing, I think the more they're going to kind of, get the ball in his hands. Cooper Cup's going to probably destroy his same record this year. He's 11 catches. He's the biggest PPR beast I've ever had, and I'm so glad I traded him this year for a few picks in my dynasty league. But whatever. Anyways, Tyler Higbee 7 for 71. It's nice to see him going on 9 targets. He's some guy He's also a guy you can look at on if you're streaming tight ends.
Yeah, that's 2 games in a row now.
Yeah, one quick thing I want to just talk about Atlanta is Tyler Algier, the rookie running back. He had 10 carries today for 30 yards. He immediately steps in as that handcuffed to Patterson. I mean, with Damian Williams on IR now, Algier is going to start to see some opportunities. So just a guy to kind of keep a lookout because he could be one of those, waiver wire darlings when it comes to, championships runs later on in the year.
Yep.
Next game, we'll talk about Seattle and the 49ers. Like I mentioned earlier, we saw Trey Lance leave this game. Broken ankle? Yeah, broken ankle is what I saw.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
That's like you said, that's unfortunate for the kid. But on Seattle's side, I mean, is what it is. They kind of got back to reality. This is kind of what we're going to see. Tyler Lockett, though, is the one thing that stood out to me. 9 catches for 107 yards on 11 targets. So, I mean, if you have Lockett in the league, which I do, you're definitely happy with that production.
Yeah, especially how late he was going in drafts this year. Tyler Lockett, I think I got him in the 12th round of my draft. So if he keeps seeing a target share like this, he's going to come into that wide receiver 2 conversation.
Yeah, we finally saw the highly touted rookie Kenneth Walker get some action. Didn't do too much with his touches, but just watch for
James
this.
Scripps.
I think that's what it is. And then on the 49ers side of the ball, I mean, Garoppolo 1 passing touchdown. And what are you doing with this backfield? You saw, Jeff Wilson, 18 carries for 84 yards. And then you saw Davis Price, 14 carries.
Yeah, you're going to see a split. I think Jeff Wilson's going to I think they're going to roll with the hot hand too. Jeff Wilson looked pretty good today. So I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries. But it's a 49ers backfield, so you know how they play. They're going to have 3 or 4 guys running the ball. Even Kyle Juszczyk got some usage today. So
could be UDFA Jordan Mason running the show next week, right? You never know. So Brandon Ayuk 5 for 63. Kittle sat out in this game as well. I mean, hopefully Kittle's back, but from what I'm reading, I'm still thinking he might sit out one more game just to get back into full health.
Yep.
My Houston Texans, Denver Broncos, 16-9, absolutely boring game. Not much to really talk about on the Texans side of the ball. Kind of saw a little bit of little Damian Pierce kind of stepping up a little bit, 15 for 69. Didn't do too much through the passing game. And really, that's about it. I mean, the only people you want to really own on this. Oh, surprising thing is no Rex Burkhead today.
Yeah, that was
2
strange.
passes. So I don't know if they're just going to give Pierce the role. I mean, as much as I love Pierce, I'm not trusting him in anything right now. I'm pretty much sitting him until I want to see back-to-back production like this, and then maybe I would consider putting him in as a flex option.
Yeah, you got to give it another week to even consider starting him. On the other side of the ball, Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson was trash today.
Yeah.
At one point, I think he was 2 for 14 passing, finished 14 for 31. He was just not good whatsoever. Javonte Williams, he was unreal today. Melvin Gordon had a decent game. I thought he'd have a bit bigger role, but he had a decent game rushing the ball. And then Cortland Sutton, he went off. As soon as that Judy injury happened, Cortland Sutton was just a guy. 7 receptions, 122 yards. He's startable every week.
Every week now. So, but yeah, you basically touched on everything there. Arizona, Vegas went to overtime. Arizona took this one. Good comeback for the Cardinals. Kyler Murray over 275 yards. Now we talked about Connor going out. Who is going to step in? There's a lot of talk about Eno Benjamin. Eno Benjamin and Darrell Williams both split carries, but it was Darrell Williams that looked much more better. Much more better. Is that even a word? Much better. Much better. 8 carries for 59 yards. Also had 3 targets in this game. Did score a touchdown. I mean, as far as that goes, I think I'm probably going to lean my way to Darrell Williams because we saw what he did when he was in KC last year. He's a productive back when he gets the opportunity.
And he has the experience on his
Yeah.
side too, so I think Arizona's going to lean on him a bit more. Kyler Murray is wow. Did
Yeah,
you see that 2-point play today?
I did, yeah. That's the one thing I did see. Yeah, you betcha. I don't know what it is. Like they started out slow, and Zach Ertz stepped in 8 for 75. This kid with no Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch. You can, hey Tristan, how's Greg Dortch, buddy? You were telling me that didn't like me starting him against him, and he scored today. But that's 2 games in a row now where he stepped in, and he's been good. Now, my question to you is going to be, what are they going to do when Rondale Moore comes back? Are they just going to let this guy just go fall to the bench, or do you think they're going to kind of see a kind of a split? Because that's back-to-back games over 50 yards receiving, and back like. I know he's not getting targeted a whole lot, but he's playing that exact role that Rondale Moore is doing.
I think they'll probably try and move him to the outside. Marquise Brown, he's he had an okay game today, but he had some drops that he should not have made. There's one big crucial drop towards the end of the game that he definitely should have had. I think when Rondale Moore steps in, I think he's going to be a big target leader for them.
Let's hope, because I had high hopes for him last year and this year. Sorry. The Raiders side, we saw Hunter Renfrow kind of, get back into it a little bit. He was targeted 10 times, 7 catches today.
Blew the game for them though. 2 fumbles to lose the game.
Yeah, you might not, if you have him on your bench, you might want to keep him on your bench for a while, because he most likely will be in the doghouse after this. But Davante Adams, this was a very quiet game for him. 7 targets, only 2 catches for 12 yards. Did save your fantasy day by scoring that touchdown. And Josh Jacobs. I'm one of the guys that I'll shit on him the whole year so far. And during preseason, did not like him, don't like him. He's the guy. There's nobody behind him. There's no pressure for him. He's doing what he does. 19 carries, not great yards after yards on the ground, but 69 yards, 3.6 yards per carry, and only 1 target. But he's the guy. So if you have him, you're pretty much firing him up every week.
Yeah, the opportunity's there for him. He's not going to catch a ton of balls, but he's going to get some of those touchdowns, I think. And yeah, Davante Adams, that was a perfect game script by Arizona today. Yeah. Double teaming him, they had him locked up today, but you won't see that. Davante Adams gonna have a huge game.
He's still going to. Yeah, I'm not saying anything about that. It's just great coaching on for Kingsbury. That was a great job. This team now, Cincinnati Cowboys. I am concerned with this. What happened? Well, I don't understand. To me, the Bengals were supposed to absolutely destroy Dallas. Burrow, not even 200 yards passing. Mixon, 19 carries, 57 yards. T. Higgins was the only one with a touchdown today. And just nothing, no excitement whatsoever on this. That's 2 weeks in a row that there's been no excitement going on with this Bengals team early.
Yeah. Losing to Cooper Rush is definitely concerning, but Cincinnati, even last year, as good of a season as they did have, they were always slow starters. Beginning of the game, they always start slow, especially Joe Burrow. And even the beginning of the last season, they weren't a very established team offensively. So I'm not too concerned with Joe Burrow especially, but they definitely need to pick it up if they want to win some games here. For sure.
Yeah. Dallas side of the ball, basically, like you mentioned, Cooper Rush, over 230 yards, 1 passing touchdown. That lone passing touchdown was to rookie Noah Brown, 5 catches for 91 yards, 91 yards and a touchdown. I'm not biting into that quite yet. I want to wait and see if you could get him for nothing on the waiver wire, go and get him. I'm not starting him. I'm not really starting anybody but CeeDee Lamb on this offense. And Zeke kind of, performed okay, but we're starting to see a little bit more Tony Pollard as well. So, that's kind of turning into a split.
Zeke is getting the opportunity. What's concerning me right now is that he's not getting the red zone touches. Kind of annoying me because I have him in fantasy and Pollard's just snubbing him in the red zone here. But another guy, Noah Brown, another good week this week from Noah Brown. He seems to be a target leader in that offense. Obviously, I heard Michael Gallup returning soon, so that might go down. But keep an eye on Noah Brown if you can. He might be worth a waiver pickup for sure.
Definitely a stash for sure for your bench. Last game we'll talk about today is the Bears and the Packers. Packers came through with the victory, which you would hope they would have. Chicago, I mean, brutal. Green Bay just dominated them on every side of the ball. That Chicago couldn't do absolutely nothing. As far as I'm concerned, outside of David Montgomery, I am not confident in anybody else on this team.
No one, and that's what comes with the Justin Fields-led offense, unfortunately. I was a big Mooney guy coming into the season, and that's just not going to happen this year. I know, like, I don't want to overreact too much into week 2 here, but like 11 total throws when you're losing by that much to Green Bay and you're still not throwing the ball, I don't think a passing offense is going to be there for Chicago.
In my opinion, tomorrow I'll even talk about this too when we do our waiver show. Darnell Mooney is one of my drop candidates this week. I am not
that far.
Oh, I'm
I still got hope in the talent. He's still too talented.
I'm not saying he's not talented, but I mean, when you're not throwing the ball, Justin Fields is trash. Like, I mean, he's not a good quarterback. Montgomery surprised me a lot this week after kind of splitting carries with Herbert last week. He kind of stepped up 15 for 122. That's huge. But why are you running the ball so much, like you said, when you're down by so much? So, I mean, I
don't think they have the confidence in Justin Fields.
Yeah,
so they run the ball, but clearly it worked, and I'm happy because you sent me David Montgomery in a trade.
I did. Yes, I did.
Allen Robinson. So
yeah. Hey, he scored today. That's all right. Still dominated that league. Did Rodgers find his favorite target in Sammy Watkins, 3 for 93 today? I think it's to the point now where Rodgers is just get whoever's out there, just catch the ball. And because he clearly he has no favorite target on this team. He spread this ball to, I think it was like 8 different receivers. 8 different receivers today. So, I mean, it just happened to be that Sammy Watkins caught the long one, but Aaron Jones, big game, huge game by him. 15 for 130 on the ground and another 3 for 30 and a touchdown. Two touchdowns total today. And AJ Dillon, this was an interesting stat. He actually outrushed Dillon, had 18 carries to 15 carries. So.
Yeah, I don't want anyone in this offense except those 2 running backs.
Yeah.
I think those 2 running backs are the best players on the field besides Aaron Rodgers. And I've never seen a team like switch their wide receivers so much on the field. Like, you have Doubs out there, you have Randall Cobb, you have Sammy Watkins, you have Lazard, Tunyon, like just so much competition for targets where I don't think anyone's a viable start.
And you can't really find any. He's not going to get any chemistry that way neither. So, But you know what? Outside of that, Riley, awesome. Thanks for joining me. And we will get back to you guys later this week with the Waiver Wire show. And then we'll also do another preview show, kind of similar to the format what we did last week. But wanted to give a shout out to everybody. Thanks for the support. We saw our numbers skyrocket this week. So very appreciative from up north here. And outside of that, we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.